Hi, I'm Sharon Pope. I am the love and relationship coach that helps you get the clarity that you need to know whether you can fix your struggling and disconnected marriage, or know that the only answer is to move forward and how to do that without regret. Most of us learned what love and marriage looks like by what we saw and experienced in our homes growing up. So maybe you're like me. What I learned about what love and marriage is supposed to look like based upon what I saw at home was that marriage was about commitment. That was very important. It was like central. It's commitment. It wasn't necessarily affection being expressed. There weren't a lot of I love yous. There weren't playful flirtations between my parents. There wasn't affection either between my parents or between my parents and I. It was more of just this underlying abiding love that felt very stable and very secure. So not surprisingly, I got into a marriage that looked really good from the outside but felt kind of alone inside for me. Because what I needed, I wanted that affection. I craved that connection and affection. And I didn't have it. But at first, it felt fine. It felt normal because that's what I grew up with. And that's all I knew. I didn't know it was supposed to be any other way. I thought that's what marriage is. But then I started seeing other couples and how they interacted. And I thought, that's very interesting. How do they do that? Where does that come from? And so I wanted more of that. And that was one of the things that ultimately led to the demise of my first marriage, to be honest. But I'll tell you, a lot of my clients, what they learned at home growing up, well, they learned that maybe mom was super controlling and she was happy when she could control dad. And so dad worked hard and he came home and he basically did as he was told. And so that's what they learned, was that you had to control your partner. I do have clients where they grew up where it was the opposite, where dad was really controlling or dad was very critical. And nothing that mom ever did or that the kids ever did was ever really good enough. So they always felt like they were hustling for their dad's approval. And so, not surprisingly, they get into marriages where they're always sort of hustling to get the attention and to get the love that they need. But they always fall short, and then they always feel like they're not quite good enough. They usually put up with more than they should in a relationship. I call it like your BS barometer is way too high, and we've got to bring it down to normal levels. So here's the reason why I'm telling you any of this. We learn about what love and marriage looks like based upon what we saw at home. There's almost nowhere else where you're going to learn about love and marriage because there's no classes on this stuff, right? And besides, words don't teach. It's only life experience that teaches. So 99% of what we learn came from our parents. Our parents didn't have any training either. They learned from their parents who didn't have any training. So this is how generations of bad marriages keep recurring inside of the same family. And it's only because we never got equipped with the tools to do it any differently. So one of the first questions that I ask my new clients is, what did you learn about what love and marriage looks like based upon what you saw at home? Now, here's the important part. What are your children learning right now about what love and marriage looks like based upon what they are seeing and experiencing at home? Oftentimes, I will ask women, is this a marriage you would want your daughter to be in? And she'll say, no, never. She won't do that though, because she's this way and this way and this way. Words don't teach. Life experience teaches. And this is not a place where do as I say, but not as I do works. I mean, I don't know where that's ever worked in the history of human beings, but definitely not here. So it's really important that we either make the marriage feel good again, or we gently and lovingly release it. Because staying in a place of not wanting to be there, staying in a place where you're arguing, staying in a place where you're just distant. You're like roommates living under the same roof. What I'm going to tell you is that do not be surprised when your children get into relationships like that when they're young adults. I'm not telling you this to like scare you. I'm certainly not telling you this to shame you, because we're all doing the best we can and we didn't get any tools on how to do this differently. But what I do want to do is maybe light a little fire under you to not stay in the place of being stuck and confused, lost, and miserable. Because your kids also deserve happy parents. Whether that's together or apart, they do deserve to see their parents happy. And I think they deserve to see what a loving, connected relationship can look like. Whether that's the two of you together or whether that's the two of you apart with someone new. I hope that's helpful for you. If you would like a guide for this journey in getting clarity for yourself, go to clarityformymarriage.com. Take good care.